Hello, everybody. It's me, Iryna Wood, and my show, What Everybody Wants to Know. And the topic of the day is business and relationship and business. Hi, Maria.
Hi.
Hi, Robert. I'm so happy to greet you. Finally, we met.
Yes, we're so happy to be here with you.
Thank you. Maria, you were my inspiration for the day. First of all, because of you, I decided to dress up this way. I knew you're going to have a beautiful dress. I knew I have to correspond to this topic.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much. So today we're going to talk how challenging or maybe very easy to have love relationship blended with business, because it's kind of tricky. In the United States, everybody started to be so independent. Everybody wants to be separated. People started to get married to themselves. There was a tendency like this. And now I can see in front of me, very happy couple. And while you're looking at me, your husband is looking at you. Isn't it believable? That's how it should be in a relationship. How did he make it, guys?
That's interesting. You reminded me of one of the first times that I met Maria and her mother. I think her mother said to Maria, "He must like you because he looks at you all the time and we're talking." And so that is kind of true. Yeah, how did we meet? We met on a blind date.
Wasn't exactly a date.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly.
We made it a date.
Yeah. And it turned into this a great love affair that we had for the summer of a long time ago. I wanted to mention the year, but it was the whole summer.
In which city did you meet?
New York. Robert, it's on New York.
So it was some kind of organized date. How was it blind date?
Robert and my mom were friends, and he offered my mother to show me the city when I was just coming for the first time in New York. And she said, "Well, you can ask her." And then we went out. He took me on a motorcycle ride. It was very cool. Then we went to one of our favorite places, which is no longer in business, but it's called Café Noir. I don't know if you
It's kind of French. Are you still in France? It's yeah.
music.
Okay.
So we had like a very casual, wonderful time together. We talked about music, and it's interesting that we connected immediately on that because of, it's kind of strange to meet somebody from New York and me living somewhere else, and then you literally listening to the same music.
Yeah.
And you weren't scared just to jump on the motorcycle with unknown guy by the time? It clicked, you felt?
No, my father is the reason for that because he had a motorcycle.
Okay, so think
Yeah, luckily. He looked very trustworthy. Like I saw,
I can see.
it's not going to be dangerous. He's not going to go fast. He's not a daredevil. It was just like the right excitement.
It was pretty dangerous. Actually, I was a geek because I actually made her wear a helmet. She said where she's from, they don't wear helmets. That she called.
So where are you from, Maria?
I'm born in Bulgaria, in Sofia.
Okay, do you speak Russian?
Oh, I say Russian. I don't speak fluently,
But you can understand.
I understand. Yeah, we study.
So that's amazing. I have another interesting question for you. How do you guys manage different mentalities? You, Robert, you're American?
Yes, very American.
Very American. That's a
I was born
good
in
one.
New York City, and I was raised on Long Island.
The same like my husband. Look at you. So very American. What does it mean to be American man?
I think it means that you have. That's an interesting question. I think that's kind of a loaded question. I think what it means to be American is that like you can choose your own destiny. You have your own path. And my path was, I went to a very conservative college in Massachusetts, but I studied abroad in Italy for a year, and I speak fluent Italian.
You have Italian touch on you with your jacket.
Well, that's interesting.
Piacere mio.
These little steps, they kind of add up to your life. And yeah, I think I fell in love with Europe, and I fell in love with European sensibility.
And woman.
And I never thought I would marry a European, but here I am. And so, this is how life works out. What's a dream? It's been a dream.
Dear viewers, I created for you the ultimate self-love and relationship intelligence app with a beautiful name, Gemini Near Me, with a revolutionary AI avatar feature, your personal counselor that you can have it just here in your pocket 24/7 and ask any kind of questions about self-love routine and relationships. On the top of that, Gemini Near Me offers you other self-discovery techniques like astrology, numerology, affirmations, meditation, dream interpretation, and many others. Just download it now and enjoy your self-love journey.
So how do you like this stigma now that a lot of American men started to get married with European women or from Eastern part of the world because they are less maybe more submissive, more respectful, as they say.
Definitely not the case with me that she's more submissive. She's definitely the best cook in the world, and I don't think an American woman can even hold a candle to her. But I
So
like.
men love you with your soul milk.
Yeah.
Okay. And does she know how to cook Italian pasta?
She can cook better than the Italians, actually.
We wanna multi-talented. He told me that he's gonna cook Italian pasta, and then we got together, and evidently I cooked the Italian pasta.
I had no idea she could cook, so here I was shooting my mouth off. But it's funny you should say that there's this trend to marrying Europeans or Eastern Europeans, but I like to think that I was a pioneer in that regard because I did this.
Yeah. So you set up a trend, kind
I
of.
think so. I hope.
Okay, you did well. Now, I know because my husband is saying, it's difficult. And as much I love American women, they can be tough, they know what they want, they can, but there is the other side. I'm not sure they're happy. But when I'm going to be alone, I'm going to stand for myself. I think it came from fear. What do you think, Maria?
I think it's comfortable to be that way, and you can surrender, and somebody else can take care. Well, so telling me about women that are not going to get married and they just want to be on their.
They just decided to be career-oriented, goal-getters and whatever.
Sometimes you just business comes between you and family. I can understand why they decide, and especially they are, closer to 40 or 50. It's hard to adjust yourself to somebody that maybe it's not as perfect. I have girlfriends who have great careers and just don't want to deal with the men that it's not exactly how they want him to be. But yeah, I'm not against that decision. I think more and more women are that way.
But you click together on pasta, on motorcycle, like you like that extreme a little bit.
I found that it's easy to click when you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
And then when time comes and you'll become in your ways, it just becomes harder to compromise when you see somebody's imperfections. So it's okay for us, the climate, when we met.
So how many years you're together?
22.
It's unbelievable. And you're still looking at your wife that way. So what's the secret?
Wow.
Respect. I think we respect each other. And you said something that I thought of what you just said about American women or just maybe women in general. And I think there's this move because of all the freedoms that we have, especially in this country, that there's sort of this urge for people to be independent, right? And to have like this independent life. And I think we're both independent actually in what we do with the business. Maybe we'll talk about that later.
Absolutely.
But, having the independence is really great. And at the same time, that has to be counterbalanced with obligation, right? Because you have an obligation, like we have an obligation to each other, yet we try to act independently, or we are independent and then we try to act with obligation to each other. And I think that that's a great balance.
So now you have business in common and you run it together. But what did you do, both of you, separately before to meet each other? Even you were very young, as I understand. Yes?
I went to school.
Yes.
And what I'm doing, it's basically a hobby that I had all my life, to make clothes. And Robert, when we met, he just quit a very long career as a currency trader. And we actually were very free. So basically retired at 35, and then we were very free. I was going to school, we study fashion, and we travel, and we would just enjoy we would just enjoy life. And then at some point, Robert decided to start a nanotechnology company, and we moved to Boston for a few years. I continued to go to my studies, and I actually worked for someone. And after a few years of working for that company, I decided I'm going to go on my own. He supported me fully. And little by little, kind of when things started spilling out of my hands and the company was growing, it became apparent that it's better for us to join forces and for him to help me more. And the financial side and just organizational side.
So you actually invested in the talent of your wife.
100%.
So did my husband. They're good guys from Long Island. New Yorkers, they're the men.
I'll take it one step further than that. I didn't necessarily invest in what she was doing. I insisted that she start this company and that we would invest our money together into it because, I feel what's mine is hers and what is hers is mine. And so that's how we did it. I'll never forget, it was actually this particular weekend, maybe 15 years ago, we were at the Ocean Reef Club and we were at the Burgee bar there. It's kind of famous if you know the Ocean Reef Club. And she was telling me about her company that she worked for and she wasn't sure how it was going to work out. I said, how does this work? And so we literally had a napkin. We wrote the business on a napkin. And I said, this could be a good business. We should try to do this together someday. And it's like, yeah, I don't know about that. And then a year later, we actually did it. So, we put it out there.
We just decided to go for it.
So tell me, please, about the structure of your company. Do your power side. Yes, you're the designer, you're the creative brain behind it, and you're the financial part.
Yeah, the finances are pretty easy. I mean, it's a straightforward type of company. I think where the complexities came in from what we do is we have a great product, one that I'm really proud of. And there were a couple of aspects of it that I thought were, to me, they was sacrosanct. It's a fashion company. And, when you're first starting out in fashion and you don't have like a set path, people will be giving you their advice all the time. Oh, you should make it in China. You should distribute here. You should warehouse. You should
Make this type of clothing. You should make clothing for younger.
And I didn't know about any of that. None of that appealed to me. The idea of making something that was, I don't know, that cost $50 to make it and selling it for $200 just didn't strike me as like an inspirational type of business. But what I was motivated by was making something in New York City, in the heart of New York City, and paying New York wages. I know that sounds crazy. And so we had the product and we had this idea, and then we had to go out and find the market for it, the right market.
So you did it vice versa.
Yeah, it took some time. And then I think, like, I didn't study fashion when I went to college. I mean, I was a classics major. I studied Roman history and Greek history. But I think that there's something in that background that made me appreciate what we do, or like we have very classic styles, a very traditional sort of look. I would say it's very elegant, it's timeless, like the classics. But sometimes you think back, like what happened in your childhood that may have impacted you. And I'll never forget, there was a family we used to visit that lived in a loft in the garment district when it was kind of really edgy to live on 26th Street in New York City and 6th Avenue in the 1970s. But I would visit this loft, which was this 3,000 square foot, really cool artist loft. But it was right in the middle of the garment district. And there were garment manufacturers all over. And I'll never forget, I would hear the sound of the machines coming from the building over next to us. It was kind of like, it was very manufacturing oriented. And I would look out the window and I would see lots of garment manufacturing going on. And that stuck in my brain for years. And then I ended up basically in that business, still in the garment business when you think about it. Fun fact, the only manufacturing left on the island of Manhattan is the clothing business. It's all gone except for that. And it's not going anywhere.
So my parents owned a manufacturer, but food production. And I tell you, they worked together. They met very early, at early age, 18 years old, grew up together, spiritually, mentally, financially, everything. And after 33 years, they decided to get divorced. Why? Because they couldn't find this barrier, like they had their opinions about ruling the company. So my question, let's say Maria created the design and you look like, kind of not my style. What do you say to your wife? Would it correct your business plan?
I don't know about it.
Or you don't go there? Design is only for Maria.
No, I wouldn't necessarily say. You think so?
I think you ask each other for each other's opinion, but we have learned that for peaceful environment, it's better for everyone to stay and do what they're best in.
That's a double-edged sword. I think no, and I think she will look at me if she kind of doesn't have like a real, what's the word for it? I guess has conviction that this is something that she wants to make. Maybe it's something for a customer, and she'll say, "What do you think?" And I might be like, it's okay. But we experiment like crazy. We throw stuff out there all the time that we think, I don't know, let's see how this goes. And then, sometimes, you strike gold.
So your client does tell you what they want, or you have your vision and that's it?
We have a collection. We have to make collection. I make my own fabrics and I print my own fabrics. So I like to have a full control of what the final design is going to be. But I do ask the clients and try to find out a little bit their psychology, where they're gonna wear it, what they like to wear. I wouldn't necessarily make them feel uncomfortable with a color that it's too bold for them, or just like shape that it's not for them. We kind of have a conversation and we kind of put it
we have the seed.
specifically for them.
We plant the seed, and then it shows them kind of where they can go with design, and then they start adding the flavor to it. But then we base it off of like, we have the foundation of structure.
But you deal with people with a lot of money and they are spoiled, and sometimes they're tired of Chanel and they want something special, and that's where they come to you.
Yeah, in the case of them, it will be when they don't want to see themselves coming and going. Because even with Chanel and brands that you think that are not affordable by everyone, this group of people would end up in the same party, and three people will have the new collection. So obviously, they don't care so much about the label. They just want to be different and
Elegant.
kind, and also the fit. Some of them
Should be customized, bespoke.
yes, and some of them have great figures, and some of them don't have great figures. So
And you make women look beautiful.
you fit it to them. It doesn't matter the size. If it fits you very well, it's gonna look great on you.
What was your most challenging situations with specific clients?
Most challenging, it has not been with my clients particularly designing or figuring out what we're gonna do, because if we decide to commit with each other and to work with each other, we're having really fun. We're having a great time. Challenges are from different types, like deadline that we have to deliver to certain location, like an island out of New Zealand, and then we have to figure out how the shipping is gonna get on time, things like that. That is what
It's more about
the most.
the process, not about the client.
Yes, if I lose my challenge, that it's outside challenge, logistics challenge. It's not with me talking to him,
But you have husband for that.
because I'm always one text message away from my clients. I give them we have a special phone number that they can always text me, and if there is something happening, I'm involved. So we become very connected in that moment. All of us, the whole team, has to solve whatever is happening. But usually, the design part is just having fun. I mean, we're just making something pretty. And
What's your most expensive dress?
the most expensive dress I made probably was like $7,000. I'm quite reasonable because we are an atelier. We're not a big brand. So we keep everything reasonable for the, basically fabric, time of execution, and we try to provide a service that it's not over the top.
But you have your location in Charleston.
Used to
Okay, so that's very historical city. What brought you there?
love.
And clients,
Yeah,
yes.
we had some great clients. We fell in love with the city. We kept passing through it on our way to Palm Beach from New York. We would stop off and
Coming here.
spend some time there.
Rough draft.
It was like some of the best years of our lives went in there.
And clientele of Palm Beach, which is different. How do you deal with that? Hamptons, Palm Beach, you cover the best occasions.
Well, it's like I think I'm mindful of Valentino. I think he learned from his clients. He'd go into these fabulous homes, see how they lived, and inspired him, and they be created. And the same could be said for us. We kind of they're the interlopers in some respect. We'll be the clients. We'll have dinner with the client. We'll learn from the client. We'll kind of immerse ourselves in their world for a little bit. Take some of that away, put our seasoning on top of it, and then we make something that's, unique to us and something that they appreciate. But we have to keep our ear to the ground. I always like to say that our business is unique in that we're kind of having blue sky technology is, these companies that are always inventing something in their workshops. We're always listening to our clients and inventing. It's crowdsourced in some respect. We do.
Who came out with the name?
Well, this could lead to an argument, actually.
I love it. That's real.
Yeah. We were Maria Pucci Couture for some time, and then we wanted to mark the name, and we received a letter from LVMH that this is very similar product to Emilio Pucci, and they would sue us
Pucci, it's your real family name.
Yes.
So you're Maria Pucci, and it's
Yes. By passport, I'm Maria Pucci, but the Emilio Pucci obviously it's purchased by the company. And
Yes.
they invested a lot in the promotion of the name, so they said they would not allow me to use that particular name on any brand that it's clothing, like clothing thing like there.
Yeah.
And we also had one of our first dates at Gramercy Park, and we decided why don't we call it Gramercy Atelier.
She was close to
It-
Gramercy.
Yeah, we're very close to it. And also, Gramercy means Grand Merci, which I kind of like the play on words. And that's how it became Gramercy Atelier. And we also thought that it's not boxing us in one particular item. Like Gramercy Atelier, you can make anything Gramercy Atelier. Maria Pucci started.
you didn't limit yourself. Maybe tomorrow you'll do jewelry.
Yeah, you could be. Yeah, and we do make jewelry sometimes for clients that need it. We do all kinds of little things. So, yeah, I think it's just kind of a more accessible, more. It's better than Maria Pucci.
Yeah, that is some thought went into that. First of all, when we realized we couldn't use Maria Pucci,
That was sad because it's real.
we didn't just make this decision, or we couldn't just impulsively come up with Gramercy Atelier. We thought like long and hard.
of being
Do we fight this? Do we tough this one out for a couple of years, or do we just get on with our lives, change the name, and be free and clear, which is what we ultimately did. But we weren't going to do it until we knew what the next name is going to be, right? Hop, skip, or jump from one to the other.
And what's your pre-marriage name?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Kosmetska.
Kasvetska.
It's not applicable.
I know, I'm Kutsenka. I understood Iryna Wood is much easier, believe me, for American citizens for sure.
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
pretty much impossible to.
But may I ask you, Maria, as a talented person and creative person, do you go into depression? Sometimes we need it, when, like, have you watched this movie Halston?
That
When just, oh my God, he was so specific. Everything should be red. Everything should be white. I'm not going to deal with that. They're crazy people, these talented people. Are you a part of it?
I am not. I've seen it, but I'm a little more pragmatic than that. I go to the gym to clear my head from any.
I do the same.
Thoughts, and it really really helps. After cold yoga, I cannot anymore feel depressed. I feel like elated. But
She is a Libra, so she does keep some equanimity in her life.
That's your partnership oriented.
She is
No way.
she's on the cusp of Scorpio, so she's like one day from Scorpio. She's on the ragged edge.
Makes her very, should be very sexual and creative, but and I don't know, extravagant, very spontaneous sign, actually.
yes, but I'm not crazy. I'm just. I keep it together.
Do you think America made you like this? That you became like very organized, disciplined, down to earth? Maybe because you were attracted to the guy on the motorcycle. Let's do it tonight.
There's a period, obviously, when he just like picked me up on the motorcycle and he just like finished his 15 years on Wall Street. We had a few years when it was wild, but then when we just realized that if we want this to work, we have to really be more serious than that and really this more strict than.
And what is the craziest thing you've done together?
I think that one of the cases was to throw the Golden Bodices party. It was pretty much like old times New York vibe.
From top. We threw a party. It was so big.
It was so beautiful.
How many people?
Well, 750 were.
How much money did you spend? I guess a lot.
It wasn't actually. We had sponsorships and we had people that we had to, invite the right people. I don't remember being so expensive. Like we had everything for everyone. It was just gorgeous. We had a doorman, and we had to have a code check in our building, which is like an old loft. And the most important part of it is that no one that has not been dressed like a goddess or a god can enter the door. That's it. You may be the most incredibly gorgeous model or famous or whatever. It would not matter. We set it enough for months in advance that it's going to be phenomenal. And we worked with a friend of ours who is in the arts business, Gregoire, and we just had roots, and the roots were, I mean, it was incredible party.
I would say that was pretty crazy.
And people were talking about it, so easy.
So, Robert, you have multi-talent next to you. Kind of views you invested, and this talent grew up and now introduced to America and hopefully to the world. Tell me, please, how long did it take from you to propose to your wife?
It's a good question. 13 months.
13 months.
13.
That's a good amount. Listen, I have to wake up my husband. You know, it's unbelievable. It's like, you guys, this is Long Island story. He did after 13 months. Yes, he proposed me. This is something predestined for written or what? Okay, I should ask you a very direct question. You are American. You are a self-made guy. You made tons of money, and you meet this young beauty. You guys have age difference on the top of everything. We do too. 25. What about you?
11.
What do you think?
11.
Okay, yeah.
11. That's my favorite number because I was born on March 11. Okay. Do you think that prenup and this kind of marriages with age difference in mentalities and so on, and when you are self-made and she's young and beautiful, does it take place?
Well, I just said, remember we had the conversation. We had just gotten engaged. I proposed to her. We were going to get married. And we were at the restaurant. I wrote down, I said, this is what I'm worth. This is what I think is, liquid or not. And I just said, here's the number. What did she do? She just said, oh, I don't care. I don't care. And I thought to myself, it seemed really very real from her. I thought, well, she could be pulling my leg, but she didn't seem to be pulling my leg. And so, yeah, we really never had an issue with
And now you made this beautiful baby, which you shared, introduced to the world. When you believe in love, you win. That's what happens.
Then perseverance.
And also friendship and having common interests, I think it's very important. And I like to keep the eyes on the same goal.
I absolutely admire both of you, and I like the position, manly position and feminine position. I brought this book for you. Sorry, not as a gift because I did my marks, but I pitched this book. And this is an unbelievable book about women who ran the Fifth Avenue. And there were a few heroes, and one of the main heroes, she succeeded unbelievably. And she said a word. She had the head of the store in Fifth Avenue. She changed totally the culture. She did so many innovations. It was at the time of Great Depression when women started to take over because men couldn't work enough. And they had to work and help the families. And she said, success is a pitfall for a woman. And I never ever wanted to be nothing but wife, housewife, mother of kids, and so on. What would be your message to women who doubt love, who are scared of love, who don't know how to open up their heart, who don't know how to trust man? What would you wish women to win?
Well, they have to find a good one. You cannot trust just anyone. And in these days, I don't know how dating works with online dating, how much time people spend with each other, but I think that if you meet someone that really is a good guy, don't be so pretentious and immediately write him off. Just give him few chances, because life is short. It's nice to have your partner with you. Nice to find somebody.
Thank you so much. And Robert, what would you wish to men to return their belief in women when they're losing it?
Yeah, I think it's really important to like the person you're with, maybe more than love them. Do you like that person? Do you share those same interests? And I'm reminded of the Senate Super 8 quote, which I find really sums up our relationship. And he's one of my favorite authors, and he wrote that love isn't when two people are looking each other in the eyes, but when they're both looking in the same direction.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for this beautiful, honest conversation. And today, we had our wonderful guests, unbelievable couple who more than 20 years together with difference in mentalities, difference sometimes in their characters and visions, but they're heading in the same direction and they made it together. And that's a proof of real, true love. And that's how it should be in life. Please follow us and enjoy, and text us always what kind of challenging conversation about self-love and relationship you would like to discuss here in studio. Me, Iryna, will always with you. Learn to love yourself.